My phone vibrates against my desk, the screen flashing with a series of fraud alerts from my platinum card. $35,000. My coffee mug slips from my fingers, shattering against the polished surface of my desk. Hot liquid seeps into the project files I'd just finished. 3 weeks of work ruined in an instant. No, 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 I whisper, frantically dabbing at the spreading stain with a handful of tissues. But it's useless. Just like the birthday I'm spending alone at my design firm in downtown Denver, working late again because deadlines wait for no one, not even 29-year-old women whose families have forgotten what day it is. I abandon the soggy mess and stare at my phone. The charges are from Snowmass Lodge in Aspen, of those places where a bottle of water costs more than an entire meal anywhere else. The same resort where my sister June mentioned she'd be networking this weekend. My hands shake as I dial my parents' number. Mom answers on the 4th ring, her voice casual, as if we'd spoken just yesterday instead of a week ago when I'd transferred another $3,000 into their account. Lydia, honey, is something wrong? It's awfully late. There's $35,000 in charges on my platinum card from Snowmass Lodge. My voice sounds strange, hollow. Did someone steal my card? A pause. Then Dad's voice joins in. They've put me on speaker. Now, Lydia, don't get worked up. June needed a little treat. She's been working so hard looking for the right opportunity. The room tilts sideways. You gave June my credit card? Just as a small treat, Mom repeats, her voice soothing in that way that's always made me doubt my own reactions. She's networking with some very important people. 18 months ago, I moved my design workspace into my childhood bedroom. Dad's business had collapsed under a mountain of debt, and the family home, the one with the hand-carved banister and the kitchen where Mom taught me to bake snickerdoodles, was weeks away from foreclosure. I'd stepped in, became the mortgage guarantor, moved back home to save on rent. It's temporary, Dad had promised, his hand on my shoulder, just until I get back on my feet. Temporary stretched into permanent. My 70-hour work weeks covered the $12,500 monthly expenses, while my parents praised June's aggressive job hunting. Sunday dinners became my responsibility too, cooking through exhaustion while June scrolled through her phone, occasionally showing Mom pictures of places she'd like to vacation someday. Last month, I confronted Mom about the empty pantry. I gave you $4,000 for groceries 3 weeks ago, I said, staring at the bare shelves. Mom didn't look up from her magazine. Prices are up, dear. Your sister needs proper nutrition for job interviews. My hands had stopped trembling then, just as they stopped trembling now. A strange calm settles over me as I pull up my banking statements. There's $3,800 in charges at Whole Foods and Bristol Farms this month alone. I say, my voice steady. What exactly is June eating? Dad clears his throat. Now, Lydia, you know women are better with the shopping. Your mother handles all that. The unspoken implication hangs in the air. Don't question. Don't look too closely. Don't disrupt our comfortable arrangement. But I'm the mortgage guarantor. If my credit is ruined, we all lose the house. I look down at the banking app still open on my phone, scrolling through transaction after transaction. Something catches my eye, a charge at Nordstrom that matches a designer handbag I've seen somewhere before. Then I remember, June posted a photo on Instagram last week. Treating myself, the caption read. I'd assumed it was a knockoff. Across the room, Mom shifts in her chair, and I glimpse the edge of a familiar-looking bag partially hidden behind her seat. The same pale pink leather, the same gold hardware. Lydia? Are you still there? Dad's voice breaks through my thoughts. I need to go, I say quietly. My desk is covered in coffee and I have a presentation tomorrow. I hang up before they can respond, before they can offer the excuses I know by heart. The fraud alerts continue to light up my phone, each one a betrayal from the people who should have protected me. And for the first time in 18 months, I wonder if it's time to stop protecting them. Next morning, the beep of my voicemail echoes through the empty kitchen. It's 5:30 a.m., and I've been awake since 3, my mind racing with numbers and betrayal. I press play, expecting another creditor hunting Dad's unpaid bills. Instead, June's voice fills the room. Mom, I need the platinum card before Lydia changes the PIN again. The limit should cover the full weekend at Snowmass. My stomach lurches. I grab the counter, knuckles white against the marble. Don't worry about her finding out. June continues, laughter bubbling through her words. She never checks the statements until the end of the month. By then, I'll have made some connections that could really help all of us. Dad's voice rumbles in the background. Tell her we'll leave it in the usual spot. I sink onto the bottom stair, the cold wood pressing against my thighs. The nausea intensifies as June adds, remember last time she freaked about the Nordstrom charges? God, she acts like we're stealing, as if she doesn't owe us after everything you guys did raising her. Mom's voice clearer now. She's always been so uptight about money. Not like you, sweetheart. The message ends. My hand trembles as I press play on the next one, recorded just 2 days ago. Got the card, June says. The room is amazing. You guys should see the view of the mountains from here. The betrayal wraps around my chest like a vice. Not a mistake, not an impulse. A coordinated plan by all three of them. When I confront them 3 hours later, they're already waiting at the kitchen table. June's voice emerges from Dad's phone on speaker, the tinny sound of her ordering room service in the background. Just some fresh berries, the avocado toast with the poached eggs, and a mimosa, she tells someone before addressing us. Lydia, you're overreacting. It's family money. I remain standing while they lounge in their chairs. Mom sips her coffee, avoiding my eyes. Tell her, Dad. June prompts through the speaker. Dad clears his throat. Look, Lydia, we're in a bit of a situation. Our cards are maxed out too. There was no other option. No other option? The words escape through clenched teeth. Well, there's also the tax lien. Dad adjusts his reading glasses, a nervous tell I recognize from childhood. I meant to tell you. The IRS filed it last month. That's why I needed the extra $4,000. Mom reaches for my hand. I pull away. And I've been giving June a little of the grocery money each week, she admits, her voice soft. She needed professional clothes for interviews. June sighs through the speaker. It's family money anyway. Don't be so uptight. Dad waves his hand dismissively. You'll make more next month. You always do. The realization hits me with stunning clarity. I haven't been a daughter to them for 18 months. I've been an ATM. My job requires a credit check every 6 months. I say, my voice steadier than I feel. If my score drops because of this debt, I could lose my security clearance. I could lose everything. You're being dramatic, June says. I hear ice clinking in a glass. The interest alone on $35,000 would wipe out my emergency fund. I continue. Did any of you think about that? Mom studies her coffee cup. We assumed you'd just pay it off. And if I don't? June's tone sharpens. Then I'll come to your precious design firm and tell everyone how you abandoned your family. How would that look to your fancy clients? June, Dad warns, but there's no real reprimand in his voice. If we lose the house, it would be on you, Mom adds quietly, after everything we've done for you. I walk to Dad's office without responding. The filing cabinet in the corner contains every important family document, organized by my father back when he ran a legitimate business. I find what I'm looking for in the third drawer. The deed to the house, transferred to my name 18 months ago when Dad faced the tax lien, a fact they've apparently forgotten. As I hold the deed papers in my hands that night, I wonder if I should confront them immediately with this leverage, or develop a more comprehensive plan. Immediate confrontation might stop the bleeding, but patience might allow me to secure my future once and for all. What would you do when the family that should protect you becomes the threat you need protection from? June returns from Aspen with a tan that cost more than my first car. She tosses her designer luggage in the foyer and announces she's hosting a homecoming dinner tonight. I already picked up groceries, she says, waving my credit card statement in my face like a trophy. The least you can do is show up on time. I stand in the kitchen doorway that evening, watching my parents fawn over June's overcooked pasta and watery sauce. The table groans under bottles of wine that match the ones I'd bookmarked for a client project, bottles I can't afford for myself but apparently fund for my sister's dinner parties. My stomach growls. I haven't eaten since yesterday. The grocery money I transferred to the family account last week disappeared into whatever feast June is presenting tonight. Each bite they take feels like another dollar being sucked from my account. Lydia, honey, sit down, Mom says, not looking up from her heaping plate. June has exciting news. June straightens, tossing her hair back. Remember those investors I met in Aspen? They love my business concept. I just need startup capital. 50,000 should do it. She turns to me with a smile that doesn't reach her eyes. We all know who has the deepest pockets in this family. Dad nods enthusiastically. This could be the opportunity that turns everything around for us. Us, not me, never me. Oh, and I borrowed your laptop to finalize my business plan, June adds casually. Hope you don't mind. I find them in my office the next morning. Papers scattered across my desk, drawers hanging open, my laptop nowhere to be seen. The lock I installed last week has been pried off, wood splintered around the doorframe. That night, I stare at my bedroom ceiling until 3 a.m., heart pounding every time a floorboard creaks. By dawn, I've moved my passport, birth certificate, and the house deed to a lockbox in my car trunk. The irony doesn't escape me, I'm hiding my possessions in my own home. When my work presentation falls flat the next day, my boss pulls me aside. "Lydia, is everything all right? You look exhausted." Before I can answer, my phone vibrates another creditor calling about my father's unpaid medical bills. I silence it with trembling fingers. Just a rough night, I lie. At the financial advisor's office later that day, I spread out 3 months of bank statements while she reviews the spreadsheet I've created. Every unauthorized charge, every borrowed dollar meticulously documented. "These patterns constitute financial abuse," she says gently. "You understand that, right?" I nod, my throat tight. That evening, I hide my phone behind a potted plant, recording as my parents and June discuss accessing my 401k just temporarily for June's business venture. I tell myself this evidence might be necessary someday, but the truth burns in my chest. I'm preparing for war against my own family. Between meetings the next day, I check my email and find a message from Great Aunt Delilah in Santa Fe. The subject line reads simply, "When you're ready. Your grandfather always said, 'The strength to say no is worth more than the money to say yes.' I have staff housing above my bistro. Call me when you're ready." That evening, I find Dad in his workshop, sanding a coffee table that looks identical to the 3 others gathering dust in the corner. No one wants handcrafted furniture when IKEA exists, but he refuses to adapt his business model just like he refuses to acknowledge reality in every other aspect of his life. "Dad, we need to talk about the credit cards." He doesn't look up. Family supports each other no matter what. That's what makes us family. The words hit a switch inside me, illuminating years of manipulation. "Support goes both ways," I say, my voice steadier than I expected. "What I've been giving isn't support, it's surrender." His sander stills. "What's that supposed to mean?" "It means I know about the quitclaim deed." His face pales as he sets down his tools. "That was just a temporary legal maneuver, to protect us from the tax lien." "To protect you?" I correct him. "And now it protects me." In that moment, standing among the sawdust and failed projects, I realize my worth isn't measured by what I provide to my family. It never was. Later that night, Aunt Delilah emails detailed employment contracts for all 3 family member server positions at her bistro, with staff housing included. Her terms are clear. Actual work for actual pay. No handouts. "They'll resist structure and accountability," she writes. But that's exactly what they need. Her follow-up call comes as I'm researching the housing market in our neighborhood. "They broke your trust," she says when I express doubts about my plan. "You don't owe them a warning." The next morning, I book 3 one-way tickets to Santa Fe using June's dormant credit card, the one she forgot she had when claiming poverty. The real estate developer who's been eyeing our property for years answers on the first ring. "Still interested in the Churchill Heights location?" I ask. "Absolutely. All cash offer, as discussed." 3 days later, I stand in the driveway watching my family pile into Dad's car for what they think is a bonding weekend at a mountain resort, me birthday gift to them. The house keys feel heavy in my palm, the signed listing agreement tucked in my pocket. As their taillights disappear around the corner, I take out my phone and call the realtor. "They're gone, bring the sign." Later that day, the house feels different with them gone. Quieter, certainly, but there's something else, an absence of weight I hadn't realized I'd been carrying. I move through each room with purpose, my footsteps echoing against hardwood floors that have supported 3 generations of Carringtons. In my childhood bedroom, the one I'd surrendered to my design business 18 months ago, I pull open drawers and methodically remove my possessions. Each item goes into labeled boxes: clothing, design materials, personal. My phone buzzes with texts from June asking if I've seen her favorite scarf. I silence it without responding. The vintage roll-top desk that once belonged to my grandfather yields old bank statements and receipts. I photograph each one, creating a digital record of my financial history with the family. When I find the jewelry box containing my grandmother's pearl earrings, the ones Mom borrowed last Christmas, I secure it in my purse rather than the moving boxes. By noon, I've changed the locks. The locksmith raises an eyebrow when I explain the situation. Family troubles? He asks, handing me the new keys. Family solutions, I correct him. While he's still loading his tools into his van, my phone rings. It's Sandra, the realtor I contacted yesterday. Lydia, you won't believe this. I've already received a full-price offer. The developer I mentioned, they're prepared to close within the week, all cash. My hand tightens around the phone. That's faster than I expected. Cash offers move quickly. They're eager to break ground on that new complex. Should I tell them you need more time? I look around at the half-packed boxes, at the framed family photo still hanging crookedly in the hallway, my father's arm around June's shoulders, my mother smiling at them both while I stand slightly apart. Always the observer. Number fast is good. 2 hours later, I'm sitting across from Teresa Blackwell, the attorney I found through Aunt Delilah's network. She reviews the quitclaim deed, nodding as she flips through the pages. This is ironclad, Miss Carrington. Your father transferred complete ownership to you. There's no provision for reversion or co-ownership. And the sale? With this deed and your documentation, you're within your legal rights to sell without their consent. She removes her glasses. Though I should advise you that family real estate transactions often lead to litigation? Let them try. I slide the folder of recorded conversations across her desk. I have June on tape admitting to credit card fraud. Teresa's eyebrows rise slightly the closest she comes to showing surprise. That should be quite persuasive. I'll contact the developer's legal team today. Back at the house, I'm wrapping grandmother's china when my phone vibrates. June's name flashes on the screen. Against my better judgment, I answer. We need another $2,000, she announces without preamble. Santa Fe is more expensive than we thought, and Dad found this amazing local artist who… Number. The silence on the other end lasts 3 full seconds. What do you mean, no? It's just $2,000. You make that in what, a week? I'm not sending more money, June. Fine, whatever. I'll just use your card again. We all know where you keep the… I've canceled all my cards and opened new accounts. You won't find them in my desk drawer anymore. Her laugh has a brittle edge. You act like this is some big secret. Mom and Dad have been using your cards for months. It's family money. The recorder app on my laptop blinks red as it captures every word. Is that why you charged $35,000 at Snowmass Lodge? Oh please, like you couldn't afford it. Besides, that's what family does. We take care of each other. By committing fraud? Another pause. You wouldn't dare call it that. If you even think about making trouble, I'll contest any crazy thing you might be planning. Dad says the house is still technically family property regardless of some stupid paper he signed. I end the call and immediately send the recording to her email with a single line. Legal definition of admission of guilt. Within minutes, my parents' number lights up my phone. 5 missed calls, 7 text messages, each more frantic than the last. What have you done? June is hysterical. We need to talk about this as a family. Your father never meant to sign over the house completely. Did you know about the investment account? Lydia, Eleanor Carrington, answer your phone right now. We can explain everything. I silence the phone and return to packing. The movers arrive tomorrow. Later that evening, as I'm labeling the last box of kitchen items, my attorney calls. The developer has agreed to the expedited closing. We can have funds transferred by Friday. She pauses. They've asked if your family will need a grace period to vacate the property. The question catches me off guard. Would mercy now invite future manipulation, or would a clean break without compromise finally teach them the lesson they needed to learn? I think of June's casual admission about the credit cards, of Dad's dismissal of my concerns, of Mom hiding designer bags behind chairs while pleading poverty. No grace period, I decide, but I have made other arrangements. After hanging up, I call Aunt Delilah. It's happening faster than expected, I tell her. Can your offer of housing still stand? The apartments above the bistro are ready whenever they are, she says. And I've drawn up employment contracts for all 3 of them. Real work, real wages. They won't like that. They don't have to like it. They just have to decide if pride is worth homelessness. Her voice softens. How are you holding up, sweetheart? Better than expected. My boss has approved remote work for the next month while I transition. And the house? Closing Friday. 1.65 million, all transferred to my new account. We talk a while longer about practical matters, furniture storage, mail forwarding, The mover's coming tomorrow. As we're about to hang up, my phone beeps with an incoming call. That's Mom, I say, checking the screen. Are you going to answer? Not tonight. After we disconnect, I listen to the voicemail. Mom's voice sounds different, smaller, without its usual confident edge. Lydia, please call me back. Just me, not your father or June. A shaky breath. I know I've been. I should have stopped your sister years ago. I just didn't know how. Another pause. Whatever you're planning, please just talk to me first. Outside, the moving truck pulls into the driveway. The neighbors across the street stand on their porch, watching openly now. Mrs. Grayson, who has lived there for 30 years, waves tentatively. I wave back, then turn to face the house that will soon have a sold sign on its lawn. Tomorrow, my family returns, expecting everything to be exactly as they left it. They have no idea what awaits them. When my family returned from their trip, they immediately called me to the house. My rental car pulls up to the curb in front of what was once my childhood home. The large SOD sign dominates the front lawn where my father's prized hydrangeas used to bloom. My family stands huddled near the front porch, their suitcases scattered around them like abandoned life rafts. My phone vibrates against the console. Dad again. Lydia, sweetheart, there's been a misunderstanding with the house. Call us immediately. I step out of the car clutching a manila envelope. The weight of it feels substantial in my hand, 18 months of evidence, all neatly organized. Mom spots me first. Her face crumples into the theatrical sob I've seen countless times, usually when she wants something expensive. How could you do this to your own family? Her voice carries across the lawn, designed to draw attention from the neighbors peeking through their blinds. June stands with her arms crossed, designer sunglasses hiding her eyes but not the tight line of her mouth. We need to talk now. Her voice lacks its usual breezy confidence. Dad steps forward, hands raised in a placating gesture that once made me feel safe. Lydia, listen. We can negotiate here. This house, there was a family understanding about ownership. Understanding? I keep my voice level. You tricked me into signing that quitclaim deed, he says, his voice dropping to a conspiratorial whisper. I never would have signed if I knew you'd pull something like this. Something like what? Protecting my assets? June steps forward. Look, I know things got a little out of hand with the credit card, but we'll pay you back when my business takes off. My Aspen connections are solid. My mother nods eagerly. Just a few more months, sweetheart. Your father has prospects. The same promises, recycled endlessly like the birthday cards they were gift to me each year with the wrong age. I open the manila envelope and pull out the first document. This is the original quitclaim deed you signed 18 months ago, Dad. Your signature, witnessed by your own attorney. I place it on the hood of my car and add another paper. This is a transcript of June's voicemail to you both, planning to use my credit card before she changes the PIN again. My father's face pales. I continue laying out documents one by one. Bank statements showing $3,800 in grocery charges when the pantry remained empty. Credit card bills with June's Aspen charges highlighted. Tax lien notices you hid from me while I paid the mortgage. Now, Lydia, my father starts, but his voice lacks conviction. The house sale is final. The proceeds have covered your tax lien, my maxed out credit cards, and 18 months of supporting 3 adults. I pull out 3 plane tickets. Aunt Delilah has housing and jobs waiting for you in Santa Fe. Here are your tickets for tomorrow morning. June snatches the ticket from my hand, then freezes as she examines it. This was charged to my credit card. You had no right. The same right you had to use mine. I reply. The difference is, I recorded you admitting to fraud, which means you can either accept these tickets or explain to the police why you stole $35,000. From my briefcase, I withdraw 3 identical folders and hand one to each family member. These are invoices detailing everything I've paid for since moving back home. Mom flips through the pages, her face flushing darker with each turn. We're your parents. You can't charge us for raising you. This starts 18 months ago, when I became the parent. I say, my voice carrying across the lawn. Before that is free. Neighbors have abandoned all pretense of not watching. Mrs. Henderson waters the same patch of grass she's been standing by for 10 minutes. Rent at market rate for the master bedroom you took over while I slept in my childhood twin bed. I continue. Groceries, utilities, property taxes, car insurance for vehicles I don't drive, clothing allowances, June's spa days. June tries to walk away, her heels stabbing into the soft grass. I wouldn't leave if I were you, I call after her. The credit card debt is legally in your name now. I have the transfer documentation right here. She stops, her shoulders rigid. You have two choices? I say, gesturing toward the tickets on the hood of my car. Accept Aunt Delilah's offer or figure it out yourselves, but you won't be figuring it out with my money anymore. Dad looks at Mom, a silent communication passing between them. For the first time, I recognize it for what it is, not the romantic telepathy I once imagined, but the conniving of co-conspirators. I slide back into my car and watch through the windshield as reality settles over them. Their voices rise in argument, Mom pointing at June shoving Dad's shoulder when he tries to calm her. My phone buzzes with a text from a friend who works at the local bank. Quentin and Margot just got rejected for a personal loan, third bank this morning. The moving truck that contains what little I salvaged from my childhood pulls away from the curb. I watch my family in the rearview mirror, still huddled on the lawn, still arguing about whose fault this is. No one waves goodbye. As I drive toward my new downtown loft, the weight on my shoulders lifts for the first time in 18 months. The invoice has been delivered. Payment, in one form or another, will finally be collected. A year later, morning sunlight streams through the floor-to-ceiling windows of my downtown Denver loft, casting golden rectangles across the polished concrete floor. 6 team members sit around my conference table, nodding as I walk them through the presentation for our biggest client. The interactive elements need to be intuitive enough for their older demographic. I say, swiping through mock-ups on the wall-mounted screen, let's revise the navigation once more before Thursday's pitch. My phone buzzes on the table. 4 times in rapid succession. A year ago, I would have lunged for it, heart racing, wondering what family crisis needed my immediate attention. Today, I glance at it briefly, note the bank notification icon, and turn back to my team. Danny, can you walk us through the user testing results? My phone remains face down. Do not disturb engaged during working hours. The framed poster behind my desk catches the morning light. Generosity without boundaries isn't kindness, it's self-neglect. Beside it hangs my Innovation and User Experience Award from last month for the project that had once been coffee-stained and delayed by family demands. After the meeting disperses, I check my notifications. A fraud alert from my credit card company, $2,400, charged at an electronics store in Phoenix. I settle into my ergonomic chair and methodically report the fraudulent charges, request a replacement card, and document the case number in my financial spreadsheet. No racing pulse, no shattered coffee mugs. Just a minor inconvenience to be handled between client calls. Lydia? Mark from the marketing team leans against my doorframe. I hate to ask, but I'm in a bind with the Davidson proposal. Could you front me the deposit for the focus group facility? Just this once? The company card is maxed from that conference last week. I meet his eyes, noting the casual expectation in his tone. The company has an established process for expense advances. Paula, in accounting, can help you submit the request form. But that takes 3 days and I need it today. Then you should have planned accordingly. The words come easily now, without guilt or second guessing. I'd be happy to help you prioritize the timeline if the focus group needs rescheduling. He blinks, surprised at the boundary, then nods. Yeah, okay, thanks anyway. I recognize entitlement so quickly now, spotting the familiar patterns in colleagues, clients, even potential dates. The clarity feels like a superpower. Saturday afternoon finds me at Aunt Delilah's Bistro in Santa Fe. Through the kitchen window, I spot my father expediting orders while my mother arranges fresh flowers on the tables. June emerges from the back, carrying trays with practiced efficiency. Later, Delilah and I share dinner on her apartment balcony overlooking the plaza. She raises her wine glass to drawing lines in the sand and standing behind them. I clink my glass against hers, savoring the cool Chardonnay. I couldn't have done it without you. Nonsense. Delilah's eyes crinkle at the corners. Your grandfather would have done exactly the same thing. That backbone of yours is pure Carrington steel. When I return to Denver on Sunday, a certified letter waits in my mailbox. Inside is an envelope containing $4,000 in crisp hundreds and a handwritten note from June. Lydia, this is this month's payment. I'll send the same amount monthly until it's repaid. You were right. Real respect comes from earning your way, not taking someone else's. Mom and Dad started counseling last week. Things are different here. Maybe someday they will be between us too. June. I carry the cash to my home office and add it to my future home fund rather than depositing it into my checking account. As I file June's first repayment, I wonder if some relationships can only heal after they're broken completely and rebuilt from scratch. Is it better to forgive family who've hurt you once they've faced consequences? Or is maintaining distance the only way to ensure the cycle doesn't begin again?